How's it going, everybody? So in this video I'm going to be talking about holy basil and my personal experience with holy basil. So back in August 2014, I was going on about 2 years of feeling like an anxious wreck, feeling like just chaos in my mind and my state of being. I had an existential crisis in early 2012 that led me down a deep rabbit hole of extreme overthinking and philosophizing every single aspect of life. It was terrible. One of my best friends, who was a Chinese medicine doctor, called it madness, although I think he was exaggerating. I also was dealing with constant overstimulation. That was addiction to social media, addiction to pornography, hypersexualized, I was like dealing with just too much addiction to sexual stimulus and overstimulation in all facets of the word. Couldn't sleep, couldn't chill, constantly overthinking, constantly questioning everything, which is not a bad thing. I was in a state of mental chaos before I started taking holy basil. And, of course, at the same time, I was dealing with some extreme physical issues, extreme irritable bowel syndrome, even though I was, what I thought was eating extremely healthy. I was eating all this fiber, all the fibrous plant foods and all that crap. And so I started taking holy basil in August of 2014. And instantly, I started to notice the cloud of mental chaos started to lift. It started to ground me down to earth, because previously I felt like my head was up in the skies with extreme tornadoes going around me, and hundreds of gods just fighting it out for extreme superiority. And I felt like holy basil brought me way back down to earth, where it's a lot safer and calmer. Even though most people will probably think earth is more chaotic, but I think that's a matter of perception. Basically, my mind and brain and life, well, my life wasn't really chaos on paper, but it felt like everything was chaotic before holy basil. And it didn't heal my chronic sleep deprivation and insomnia I was dealing with yet, but it definitely helped with a lot of the anxiety, especially the existential anxiety. It helped me become detached to a lot of the crazy energy in my brain, and detached to a lot of my existential thoughts and things of that nature that were bringing suffering and chaos into my state of being. It definitely calmed down my hypersexuality. I remember I went to a bachelor's party, or something like that. I don't know what you call it, but it was with all the guys from a wedding. We went to a strip club, and it was actually my first time ever going to a strip club, even though I had a lot of friends that were strippers at the time. And I literally had zero interest in the strip club at all, because the holy basil helped remove my addiction to hypersexual stimuli and helped me ground myself back to my values. And that's a very key and important phrase I just used there. It helped ground me in my values. So, because my values at the time were health, were self-improvement and stuff like that. And I just didn't feel like being at a strip club where people are throwing around money for, seeing a little bit of naked bodies and stuff. I didn't feel like that was in alignment with my values. And so it's weird, because before taking holy basil, I would have been completely different, way more interested in stuff. But holy basil made me detached completely from things that I didn't feel were serving me. And I was like, man, can I just go home? Which I was like a buzzkill to everyone else that was there. But that's a very interesting thing about holy basil. And, they call it holy basil. It's one of, Ayurvedic medicine's spiritual herbs, you could say. There's a lot of spiritual lore behind it. I would not say on the caliber of reishi mushroom, but I would say similar to reishi mushroom. It's like a sacred herb or whatever. And that was like my first experience with holy basil. It really felt like it transformed me, and it brought out, I guess, what I would call my spiritual side. But of course, the word spiritual doesn't really have a lot of meaning. Everyone has different meaning. Most people use that word and don't even know what it means. Don't even ask themselves what they mean by it, but they use it freely all the time. I'm spiritual. Anyway, so I stopped taking it for a while, I think, because I just didn't like how grounded it made me feel, if you want to say. And also because I was still like going down the rabbit hole trying to figure out what's causing my problems, my health issues, and I was still spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on different supplements to cure conditions that I thought I had and I didn't really have. Like most people who watch my channel probably, trying to find out, like trying to kill the candida, trying to boost my testosterone or optimize my testosterone and crap like that. And all these weird things people go through, trying to detox my body of heavy metals. So it kind of distracted me from the benefits of holy basil. So I stopped taking holy basil for quite a few months. So stopped taking it probably in late August, early September of 2014. I did go raw vegan for a while after that, and I went vegan for a while, and that was horrible. And then probably around January or February, I would say maybe February of 2015, I actually found a ton of holy basil supplements in the bargain bin at my local Sprouts Farmers Market. And I found holy basil from the brand Gaia Herbs. I found holy basil from the brand Nature's Answer. And usually those supplements are like $20 or more per container. But I found them for like $2, $4, $5 per container. And I was like, holy crap, holy basil. I'm like, holy basil. I was like, damn, I got all these holy basil supplements in the clearance section, super cheap, so I felt like I hit the jackpot. So I bought all of them. I bought a shit ton of holy basil. And at the time, they also had like hemp protein, because I was vegan at the time. So I stocked up on that. Little did I know I was just shitting all of that out. But so I stocked up on holy basil. And man, I don't even remember how long I was taking it at that time. I think that I actually found it in January, all the discount holy basil, and I was taking that probably until March or April, probably like March. And I don't remember how much of it I was taking. I think I was taking like 4 servings worth, which is probably equivalent to like 1 gram or more of holy basil. And man, I just remember feeling so good. I just felt like I was living in the world, but I was not a part of it anymore. I was like a god living in a world amongst men, because I just didn't feel, it's hard, whatever. Because I just felt so detached. It was just great. But it wasn't detached, like apathy, like, ashwagandha will do. It was detached in a sense of just feeling so euphoric and feeling calm and feeling good. But literally just feeling like nothing in the world could touch me. Like not caring, not over worrying. And then whatever care I had was kind of like positive feelings, yet I still care and will still take care of business, if that makes sense. Anyway, it was great, so I would describe it as no stress whatsoever, detached from the outcome of anything, feeling euphoric and great, feeling like a god amongst men, but not in like the overly yang type of feeling, not like pumped up, stimulant, I feel like a freaking god type of thing. I just felt great. I feel completely balanced and just amazing state of well-being. So, you know, and so the big thing with holy basil is, before I started taking it, I was a completely different person. You know, I was like an anxious wreck, full, just chaotic, just full chaos. After taking holy basil, you know, and I was like, oh, like, what's the meaning of life and all this stuff. And holy basil seemed to help me, it seemed to heal that part of my body. And even after I stopped taking it, for the most part, all of that was gone. Although there were times there after like a while, because I was taking, you know, insurmountable amounts of caffeine combined with insurmountable amounts of yohimbe. After a while, I actually started to fuck myself up because I was taking too much stimulating compounds, and that was chaos again. But holy basil definitely helps you to ground back to life. So if you are the type of person that, you know, takes way too much caffeine, I don't mean from coffee, I mean like pre-workouts and yohimbe bark extract and stuff like that. Getting off of that and then taking holy basil combined with tea instead, you know, like green tea, black tea, maybe some coffee, will really help to take the edge off and help you like remove your addiction to that kind of stimulus. And then it'll help you really see the benefits of feeling calm, if that makes sense. So anyway, before holy basil, just in complete utter chaos on the planet. After holy basil, feeling like I was a god amongst men. Just completely changed my outlook on life, completely changed my approach to life. It was great. And there are a number of other herbs that have had a similar impact, but I think holy basil seemed to really transform me, if that makes sense. So it was a very transformative herb. Of course, you have to take it for a while and take the right type. And of course, you know, I'm sure not everyone's going to have such a transformative experience. Most people aren't open to that. Most people, they're so like attached to the physical world that they don't even notice effects that herbs have on them. So they don't, the herb can kind of like guide you towards like better outcomes, if that makes sense. And guide you towards learning better perspectives that might serve you at that moment. You know, you'll have more of a tendency to open up a book that might help you. Have more of a tendency to change your perspective, and on a direct level, help you change your perspective in and of itself. Anyway, leave your question and comments down below. Let me know if you've had any experiences with holy basil. You know, and these are just more of my own like subjective experience, but I have videos talking about the tangible benefits, you know, like the stress reduction benefits, the boost in libido and testosterone it supposedly gives, but at the same time it somehow kills fertility, which is weird. You know, it's supposed to boost libido, but at the same time work as a natural birth control, which is just weird. But anyway, there's, you know, and helping with insomnia and all sorts of things. But, so one more thing I'll say, the brand and the dosage. So I was taking Now Foods extract back then, but I found that they changed the type of extract they use and it might not be as beneficial anymore. The Himalaya brand extract I still really enjoy and I find very good. And it's a pretty cheap product too. Organic India is not an extract, but for some reason it seems to be pretty effective, even though it's not an extract and it's pretty expensive. If you find those holy basil teas, I don't remember what the brand is. I think it's Organic India, but I'm not sure. But the holy basil teas are pretty good too, drinking throughout the day. The Nature's Answer brand holy basil was very powerful. Gaia Herbs was pretty powerful, but all those are pretty expensive. But I think the Himalaya brand is probably my favorite. Source Naturals has a good extract that I like. So maybe just experiment with different brands, but I'd say try the Gaia Herbs, Nature's Answer, and the Himalaya especially first. Then you can try the Source Naturals brand. And then I would highly recommend drinking a holy basil tea throughout the day, just to really bolster that effect, you know, and it'll have a very profound effect, kind of like on the level of, you know, just like any other herb that people say transforms them, It's not a hallucinogen or any nonsense like that, but you know how people talk about like ayahuasca changing them. I've never done any of that. I'm not into that type of experience where you lose track of reality and shit, or whatever it is. I'm ignorant on those plants, but I am a huge fan of holy basil, and holy basil seems to have a transformative effect on like an energetic level, if that makes sense. So anyway, leave your question, comments down below. I love holy basil, and I'll talk to y'all next time.